What's up, you guys? It's Marf. I don't know if you just saw the bombshell video that I just dropped, but you go watch it. So, I was filming and I was doing all sorts of different stuff at the FEMA Region 10 Center. It was after hours, so I figured, I kind of figured. In fact, I thought maybe because of the amount of cameras that I got, that there would be somebody there. So I walk all the way along the fence line. I set up my camera maybe once to do a time lapse footage, which I'm going to put into a video later. I get the clouds moving over FEMA, and it's just nefarious as all hell. Now, this place, when you look at it, the guard there, who has to be, by the way, he says it in the video, you have to be former law enforcement or former military to even think about working security there, tells me that it was an old base in the Cold War and that it used to be silos. And then he says, oh, no, they didn't fill them in. They were like a concrete bunker and the missiles would get loaded up or whatever. Either way, there's just this huge field that used to be a base. Well, there's these concrete bricks that go down the middle and it almost looks like the land splits. Just what if maybe that entire thing lifts up? I mean, this thing is guarded. Here's the thing. I'm going to put this video in there. As I'm walking up the main entrance to the gates, there's a booth where it says 100% ID, and apparently in this dark booth was somebody. Then a guy drives up in an unmarked black car, which I got on videotape, and he says, hey, can I help you? Can I help you with anything? I said no, and immediately I get all shaky. I put my phone down. He says, well, you should probably remove yourself from the property. At that time, I was on public property. I don't know, because the entrance goes in really far. Then I'm walking out the gate. I take a right, and I'm still on the side of the FEMA Region 10 Center. And this is, by the way, because somebody told me that there were like 50 trucks, or they said like 40 or 50 white trucks, white vehicles, tents all set up just yesterday. So I thought, man, if I go there, all this stuff is going to be set up. All of it was tearing down. So then I get about halfway along the fence line, and I absolutely knew. By the way, I tried to drive all the way around the complex to get to the other side. A white Suburban followed me. I got footage of that too. I pointed the video right out the back, and this thing was tailing me. That was before this encounter. Then, as I'm walking along the fence, I see this ATV, like one of those fancy golf carts, roll around right up to the fence. And he gets out, and he's got his hand on his gun, and he's like, hey, bud, what are you doing, or whatever. And I just basically said, I'm a YouTuber. I'm doing videos. I'm just recording the FEMA from the outside. The same thing I told the first guy. He goes, oh, yeah. Guy ends up being super, super nice. He ends up talking. He asked me if I was recording, which technically I was streaming. YouTube was recording. I said no. And then he goes into talking about FEMA, right? This guy is security. He's there for, mind you, this man goes through all the meetings. He goes through all the protocol. He gets inside knowledge on a lot of things. Because every event that they have there, they get their own meeting, I'm sure, too. And he's like, oh, are you like a preparedness person, whatever else? I said, yeah, I have. He goes, do you have your own YouTube channel on preparedness? I said, yeah. He goes, yeah, a lot of people here are into that. And I said, employees? He says, yeah. At one point, which I didn't even catch, I was going over it. My sister goes, did you realize he said he has a bug out in his bag just in case he has to walk home? He says that he finally got his family to move from Aberdeen to somewhere else. Or maybe he said to move to Aberdeen. I don't know exactly. And we're talking about Aberdeen here in Washington, away from the coast. Then he says that we would not be prepared here. He says, we have no supplies here. He's pointing back to the FEMA Region 10. He says, They have reserves, like a couple reserves. I got video. There's Humvees, there's vehicles, but again, there's not like a huge array of vehicles that I thought there would be. He says that we don't even have the ability to set up a refugee camp. Realize that would be the opposite of everybody's internet conspiracy, and I've told you, if there was a major event, FEMA is the military. I got video right in the window. You can see it from the street. There's these see-through curtains. You see right into their office, it says, "You are Army Strong," right inside the main FEMA office. This wasn't the part that was the base. I even confirmed that. He says, I said, I tell my people to prepare for a month. He says, oh yeah, at least, minimum. He says, people won't be able to, the roads will collapse. I said, the roads will collapse. He said, yup. He's like, I know. He's like, FEMA won't tell you anything. Because he goes, FEMA won't tell you this. And then he goes, because of whatever. And then says, but I heard, and this isn't from FEMA, but everything west of I-5 will be toast. Now, this is a man that works for FEMA, probably knows that is an actual FEMA quote. That is a FEMA quote. Everybody knows that. It was featured in the article, the really big one by Chris Goldfinger. At first he says, yeah. And then I ask him and he's like, he didn't seem like he knew who Chris Goldfinger was. If you guys haven't seen that full video, listen to what he's saying. I was blown away that this man said all that. He said we would have to get out-of-state help. He said we would have our pants down. If you live in the Northwest, he just confirmed everything I've been saying. Absolutely everything. And I've been telling people. This is a gentleman who's worked at FEMA for years. If he's worked there for Cascadia Rising, that means he's worked there at least 2 or 3 years. But people still don't believe me. This is a huge deal. This is gigantic. Like huge. Everything he just said, that's incredible. He has a bug out in his bag in case he has to walk. Anyways, absolutely crazy. Tammy Purdy, Mr. Goldfinger is the lead seismologist. I did a full interview with him. It's an hour long. I still haven't released the full interview, but I've released a snippet of it where he even says he can't believe how much military is involved. You know why? Because military is the only involved party. Really, FEMA's not going to do anything. They say FEMA is military. If you saw this place, FEMA was all a military base with a tiny little office set up for them. And in there, it's got Army Strong everywhere. This base, though, and I'm telling you, I think, just bear with me, this is not a conspiracy, but I think he even asked, he said, half the people that come here think that the antennas are for mind control and this and that. And I told him, ha. I laughed it off. I said, no, that's not what I'm about. I'm about warning people the Cascadia subduction zone. So I told the truth. Now, he asked my YouTube channel name at the end, and I freaked. I go, after all this, what if I tell him? First thing I could think of was to tell him that I was Unirock. Crap, my thing failed. Which, one, is free advertising for him, but two, especially if people take this clip and share it, because they probably should. This is absolutely gigantic. But again, yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't think of anything else. When he goes there, he's not going to see me. No harm done. I felt bad. The guy was super nice. But realize the words he said, this is somebody who works directly with FEMA, works with the employees, and the employees are preparing themselves. because they absolutely know that nobody's going to save them. This is going to be the largest catastrophe the country has ever seen. People will forget about everything else. Kaluma, L. Jackson, you know what? That's very unfortunate. I don't think he will. Seems like he's been there a long time. He didn't technically say anything wrong. And that's not really my fault. He didn't say anything that people, well, okay. If it was to the standpoint, like, say, local news says, so FEMA's not prepared for this. Well, we already know that. We're a 1 out of 10 on preparedness, and they know this. They don't have anything. When this happens, we're all going to be screwed. And it just goes to show you, we are how many decades overdue for this thing? Maybe it will get their butts in gear. What's up, Jenny C? What is up? Exposing it all for the people. Please share that video. That's huge. Masami Schultz, never seen you here before. I'm sorry, my gimbal just died. I did so much stuff. I did so much stuff there. And then they finally freaking snatched me up. Hold on, let me... cancel out of this. Yeah, it was... I was shaking. If you guys saw that video, I was absolutely shaking. Within 2 minutes, I mean, I walked maybe 40 feet, and I'll show you guys these videos. I walked in with the gimbal, and then probably got about 50 feet before that guy pulls up in an unmarked black car. Earlier, I drove by maybe 3 times trying to get like a rolling shot, which I'll show you guys that too. I rolled by and showed you the field, and then there was a beautiful sunset behind it. And then all of a sudden I had this white Suburban that took 3 lefts with me. And then I got my camera out and I point it straight through the back of the truck window, and it's just chilling there. A white Suburban. Like, now I know that's borderline whatever. Maybe it was just a, you know, rich housewife, but this is in an area, it's like, I don't know if they call that Briar. It's in an area where you see all like pickup trucks, and the gas is still cheap there. I had to fill up, like the gas was under $3. That actually amazed me more than the FEMA statements. But that should be screaming out loud to everybody. Like, this is something that they are not prepared for. No one is going to be prepared for at all. What's up, Ilish Senkrosect? I don't know how, I cannot say your name. I apologize. Vale, art journalist. I did not sound nervous at all. Mainly because of his demeanor, but I was physically shaking. In fact, when I first said hi to him, I was thinking like, don't be nervous, don't be nervous, don't be nervous. I felt like if I looked nervous or sounded nervous, that he might suspect me. In fact, the truth came out. I got put on the spot and I was like, I'm a YouTuber. I'm doing a preparedness series. I'm just filming the outside of the FEMA. Same thing. If you see the video of the guy pulling up in the car, I was like, he says, he's like, hey, do you need any help? I said, nope, just filming the outside of FEMA. He said, oh, okay. Oh, and then the security guard apparently, or that guy goes in and immediately tells that security guard was out along the fence, pulls up real quick. And then turns out, but you have to see it from the point of view too. I was thinking in my head, like, this guy, and then I said, so you have to be here all day or whatever. I was just going to say all day, all night. And then I even felt like, what if he thinks that I'm like scoping it out? Like, you know, is there people here at night? And I go, oh, that's cool. And he's like, no, not really. So he's a nighttime security guard, but trust me, they know stuff. And he even says the requirements are ex law enforcement, ex military to even start to be security there. And they do treat their own. He's got a security clearance. His badge. I wish I could have just said, "Hey, will you at least like pop on or something?" His badge said, it said something clearance, but it wasn't a letter, and it was this weird word. It was like, it wasn't dolphin. It was something else. I want to go back and look because you do catch his face for like 2 seconds. He also said his name. Like, I'm feeling bad. Like, I don't think he could get fired and he did ask, like, are you recording? I said no, because technically I wasn't. I was streaming. And here's the thing, too. It's almost like he knew the words right now, like as I see on my screen right now, because I'm streaming, there's words going up across the screen. And I held the screen, it had the inside camera on, and I held them towards him. So he could see the screen moving, but because of what it was videotaping, which was me, it was really dark. Maybe he saw that the camera was on me, so he didn't care. I don't know. That's crazy. Thank you, Thomas Ellison. Please share, everybody, especially for anybody in the Northwest. Like, that's unbelievable. Like, literally, to have a FEMA employee say, I've got a bug out bag in my car, that other employees are preppers. FEMA people are preppers. And if they're not FEMA, they're military. So, because those are the only two people there. To say that it's, I mean, this guy. This guy has lunch. This guy talks with these people every day, in and out. He gets to be right next to these people that are in charge of the entire, what do you call it? The entire project. And this is one of their biggest concerns. He agreed with everything I was saying. And this guy hears all of the dirt. They do. I mean, he's in a top security clearance military base, and he's the one protecting it. Man. Wolf Girl says, I just read that part of Yellowstone is closed due to breathing. That's freaky. James Coulter, if you have not seen the video I just posted to the main channel, it says FEMA employee tells all the security of the FEMA Region 10 base. It is a military base. Just said, asked it. And again, I feel bad. He said, are you recording? I said, no, because technically I was streaming. Nothing actually records onto my phone. So I was being truthful. He said that he has a bug out bag in his car, that all help when the Cascadia subduction zone will have to be from outside the states or outside of the state. He says that it's going to be, they might write a check here and there, but they have no supplies there. They don't have a refuge camp, or they don't have the ability to take refugees in. He told all about that base, and that base looks like those two panels of grass go up. Now, just hypothetically thinking, and this is what I was thinking, this thing, it's perfectly flat. He says it used to be a Cold War base, and they filled in. And I said filled in, and it's almost like he mistakenly said that it was filled in. And then he goes, no, it was, they weren't silos. But think about it. If you've ever seen one of those movies where the two grass panels lift up and then, say, a nuclear missile comes out, I very well think that a place like that is a military installment that's secure in the city, could be one of their hidden silos. Because we do have hidden silos. They have the ones that are reported a lot. In Washington, Seattle is 18 miles away from the closest missile silo. So that is definitely not one of the places you want to be if we declare mad or whatever. Um, but yeah, they've told us that they have them and they're classified. A place like this, when you look at it and there's these cement bricks right down the middle for no reason and the ground is split, that whole panel could possibly come up. That could possibly be something he wouldn't even know about. Like a button pushes and then boom, you see a missile launch from the city. That's just my thoughts. That's not fact or anything. Like, but it was crazy. Geez, don't you people know that the DoD has it all on video already? Alish, thank you. Alish Sacrosanct. Sorry, now I'll say it right. Southern California deplorable Henry Lindemann. Yellowstone has been drum beating. Steamboat is going crazy. Popocatépetl erupted twice within the last 48 hours. What's up, Psycho Silly Billy, Woodsy Mom? And yes, the video is on my main channel. Go watch it before it's gone. If anybody has mirroring capabilities, as long as you put the original link in the description, please share. Or at least record it. Robert Wallace, I agree. Deep Fried, please go over to the main channel and watch that video. I was not I put it on live because I was afraid I was going to get arrested. And yes, somebody could say, well, why would you think you're going to get arrested? You were outside the fence. I don't know what the rules are. I went in this like 100-foot long driveway where the two gates are, and I was zooming in. Like, you don't know, like maybe they have a Homeland Security law, like if I videotape the military portion of or something, I could have been snatched up and like never seen again. They have new laws in place. Like they can just take you. So I instantly pushed live. I was so shaky and nervous, I could not get my gimbal to work. And then literally, as I thought my gimbal broke. In fact, I thought out of the panic of putting it in, I thought I might have put it in while it was on and broke it because it was just limp sitting there and I could not get it on. The thing is if you tap the button, it just shows you the power status. And if you hold it down, it will start up. And for whatever reason with the DJI, you have to like hold it upright and then hold the button down with big phones. So anyways, I literally thought like I screwed up my gimbal, and then right after I walked away, I told you guys, like, I don't know. Some people may go, oh, you shouldn't, why are you so scared? Because I don't know. It says U.S. government property. It says that it's a military base. If you take videotapes, he said it was perfectly legal. After that, I was a lot better. I even asked like if they were hiring, and he says, well, yeah, you can do internships. Well, you have to have law enforcement or military background to work security there. So you have to be a soldier or an ex-police officer to do the job that he does. You have to have top security clearance. That's what I'm telling you guys. This guy, and then the fact that he's telling me that, oh, I heard this, but this isn't from FEMA, this is from other sources, that everything west of I-5 will be toast. That is a FEMA quote. I mean, everybody went nuts over that. Everybody went nuts. The fact, and people took it out of proportion. I even said to him, I said, like, no, I think that is an actual quote from FEMA. It was from the FEMA director. I think this was the guy before Brock Long. I think the same position as Brock, but before. And I think they like tried to retract that back because they didn't want people to be panicked. Sorry, I don't know why it keeps unfocusing. I look like shit. It's the stained glass window that makes me look like I'm high. My eyes look super red, but I promise you they're super white. And then it was so funny. He's like, yeah, half the people that come here are total nuts that think that we're mind control and that we're a death camp and all that. It is obviously not a death camp. I mean, but all that open space, he explained it. He said that it was an old base. But it's just so weird how the middle of it breaks down the middle. By the way, if anybody's in the Northwest and has a really fancy drone, I will directly work with you. I really want to get my hands on a drone for like instances like that. I don't believe it's illegal to fly over it. I want to see a top-down view of that other than like satellite photos, which can be edited. And then I looked at Google Earth. So the whole reason I did this is because somebody said that there was like 140 tents set up and a bunch of white vehicles and all this. And I thought, man, so I was really disappointed when I got there and I saw an open, empty field. And I even looked it up on Google Earth. If you go, there's white trucks there. But the guy explained that that was overflow parking, right? But what they were talking about, the people that reported, they said it was a gigantic, like, medical tents with like the Velcro, like people going in and out. It looked like an emergency, and they asked, and they said, no, we're just pretending. And I'm like, pretending for what? So I thought I was going to go there and get like one of these crazy drills that surrounds every big event. Like in my head, I was seeing, doctors rushing in, like they described it, doctors rushing in and out of tents and asking for stuff. Well, apparently some sort of drilled. And I asked the security guard, I said, so do you guys have tents set up and drills here? And he's like, oh yeah, all the time. I'm like, okay. So I believe, I want to thank John, and I definitely want to thank Debbie for sending me that, or at least telling me about that. If I would have never went, I would have never talked to this guy. Like, that's a bombshell. I mean, it's not like he's, it put me, I was speechless. Like, I was just driving out back after that, and I'm thinking, like, what the hell just happened? Let's see where you guys are at right now. Norse art, scary thing is Russia AI will take the ropes if Russia's generals cannot be contacted when SHTF. I wasn't too brave. I was my hands were so shaky. I'm glad it was on the limp gimbal, and all I had to do was hold one corner of it. But I wish I would have if I would have faced it towards him completely, because I was too nervous to like look down and switch the camera to the exterior, and I was afraid of pointing it towards him because then I was thinking he would totally know. I just wish I would have got more footage. I wish I would have got his, like him sitting in front of this just nefarious building. Broken 76 says, I watched two birds suicide against cars last week in front of my house. It actually shook me up. No, I think he saw my tattoos. I don't think he really cared. Anyways, anybody that knows what my tattoos means, then they usually either salute or do something else. If any of y'all use the wax melt after the scent is gone, keep the wax to start fires also. What is up, Lyle Neep? Thanks for coming. If you have not seen the video over on the other channel, listen carefully, because it just confirms everything I've been saying about Cascadia Subduction Zone. Anne-Marie Wright says, talk to Dutch. He has one he offered to the USGS. He can't use it where he lives. Well, you can't find it. You just have to go down. It's not on the top of the page because of how my page is set up. You just have to go, you have to click on the videos tab and then go to the last video. Yeah, I'm actually like really happy. I mean, if that, I will personally, I will, I mean, I will, I do have a connection at the local news place, or at least Como. I would go there and tell them to rehire him if they fired him over that. He was just being honest and he was protecting the place and he was feeling me out. And the thing is it's no secret that we're not prepared. Chris Goldfinger has been telling people for a year that we're not even to a 1 out of 10. But when you look at a agency like FEMA, it's all a bureaucracy. They don't have the money to protect us. And then, a lot of people are saying that FEMA is all bad. I have to say, FEMA is just like, I always say it, like the Masonic Society. Most Freemasons are not weird. I don't know if they actually, nobody's ever got the full initiation in. I don't know if they drink blood or whatever, but at least at the lower levels. Like lower Masons, they don't know nothing. It's the 33rd degree Masons that are like the crazy cabal. Same with FEMA. Most people are not like this. This Brock guy, he's not even at the top. I mean, they call him the main head honcho, but there's people above him. They're just not publicized. He's the face that takes the hit when something goes down. Now he's getting in trouble for using private, vehicles for private uses and stuff. Deep fried Fugelsand said, "Drink blood. I don't even like rare steak. I don't think I could eat a steak that wasn't rare." Yeah, dude, that was an awesome convention tonight with Trump. There's going to be a lot of awesome things. Oh, I already know they got my plate. There was somebody following me before. The thing is they probably look for stuff like that. Like if somebody drives by 3 times and I was holding a gimbal out the freaking window, you'll see the footage I got. There's nobody there, but yet that's the thing too. If you look at the footage I took, there was nobody there. Nobody, not one person. And it's funny. So in this, I went there and this golf cart pulls up. Actually, that reminds me. When you look at Google Earth footage, I'm not even shitting you. If you look at Google Earth footage, like stand on the street and look at FEMA Region 10, where I was, and even the Google van driving by with the camera on top, that same security guard, the same whatever you want to call it, is in every picture on Google Earth. Even if you move down the street, it's right there. Like they saw the Google Earth truck and then sent them out there. There's people watching it 24/7. That's really weird. I'm telling you, you guys can just type in FEMA Region 10 on Google, then walk on the street, and you'll see white trucks, and then you'll see in the picture this same guy that came to the fence and talked to me. I don't know if it's the same guy, but it's the same little ATV thing. It's crazy. Hey, farm girl, haven't seen you in a while. Well, in a couple days. Thank you for coming back. Michael Mudd, Shamanic Earth Dragon, Jason Stevens. Jason Stevens, I want to apologize to you too. When I switched phones over from the Note 8, I had a really hard time getting all the Facebook messages. My response time went way down. Jason Stevens, you've sent tons of awesome articles. I ask you not to stop. I've had so many things going on. I can't cover everything, and I've been very careful because YouTube is like a carpet that's about to be ripped out from under us. I have to be extremely careful. I'm surprised that this one is labeled, FEMA anything usually gets pulled, or at least I've had a couple of them where I've put that same label and they've been BANNED in several countries. Karen, I think I've seen you here like a long time ago. Red Pill Marine, what is up? It's kind of sad Bill Mish doesn't come here anymore. Well, I would say please to each and every one of you, especially if I've mentioned your name, go and share that video at least one place. Creepy. Well, now if you guys know if I stop making videos or if I go a day without, I would say wait until I do go 2 days without posting a video. Some days just things happen, but make sure to check both channels. I will try to get on. I want to show you guys this footage. I have to upload it to my computer. What time is it? It's about 9:46. I've got to do a couple things. I'm going to get back in my studio. Yeah, please just share that video, especially with anybody that lives in the Northwest. That should be a wake-up call to a lot of people. Robert Bakley, if you just look up at Marfugel, with an E at the end, I guess a lot of people mess it up and do just L at the end. Red Pill Marine. I'm sorry. I felt bad. I just I thought he was going to look me up on the spot. So you know who I should have said it. I shouldn't have said somebody that actually, does a lot of videos every now. I thought, man, I thought he was going to add me right now. And actually if I didn't feel bad for how much he said, I would have said Marfugel News. I really would have. But then if he looks at Unirock's not me. He'll tune into Unirock once in a while. Unirock never mentions my name, so then he'll just think, oh, they just never used the footage. So that's why I did it. I mean, I was trying to think of names. I was thinking of somebody in my same niche. I could have said Dustin Nemos, or Titus Frost, or any of the people that are in this niche, but I didn't want. I don't know. That was just on the fly. Anyways. Yeah. I wanted to tell him the real channel. I did. I just, because he's so nice, but I don't know. No, I know he had a body cam. He had this whole setup here, and he had a badge right here, and the badge had other badge that was one of those pulley ones that has the where you tap it and you get into places. He has access to the whole place. No, that's rain actually. That's a project I'm working on. As you can see, to get into the house, it's just a ramp. But yeah, it's raining pretty hard, and it's out of nowhere. It wasn't raining and then just instant. And then there's a park out here. You can't really see it. The back fence goes to all woods. There's some pretty tall trees out there. But anyways, I will most likely see you guys if I don't make it on tonight. I will try to get on. I don't know. I did want to get all the footage added in and edited in, so I will do that. All right, thank you guys. Have a good night. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marf out.